Alright, well, welcome back to the Megabuild. I was just thinking this morning when I was doing some work on this. It's funny when you come back to a build, it's not really a lot to show, but usually it takes 10 or 20 hours worth of work. So I feel like I'm not really reporting on a lot every time I come back saying there's some big changes been made, but there has been some big changes made. And they have come in the form of the gardens outside here. I just realized very recently, since I'm now getting very close to endgame, that I really need a lot more in terms of arrows and better equipment for taking out bosses. So things like shroud arrows, poison arrows, that sort of thing. And what I really need for a lot of that equipment is a lot of food for making different arrows. So what I've done now is I've changed and added onto all of this bottom floor here. As you would have seen, there's now a lot more space out here, and I've broken down each of these gardens here and made them all smaller, and I've also doubled. So what I've got now is smaller plots for more different types of crops, and we've now got 8 different crops along the top here, and the central garden, which I'm never going to change because I like it just the way it is with that jasmine in there. What I've still yet to do is work out what's going to happen on this bottom floor here. I may make it into smaller gardens, however I may not. There's an argument, I guess, for leaving 2 really large gardens for things like flax, which you need loads of, and I may just make them just flax gardens or just tomato gardens, something like that. There's an argument for that, so that's probably what will happen at some stage. In finalising all of these gardens and adding those extra stairs in and everything there as well, I've had an idea, and what I've done is I've pulled this little floor here, which was a garden, completely to pieces, and I've now got a fantastic idea. Problem is, as usual, it's going to be bloody huge and it's going to take me loads of time. But suffice it to say, it's a very exciting concept, and I hope and pray that it's going to work out and it's not going to take me another 300 or 400 hours to do. It probably will, but that's fine. I really love building in this game and I'll never get sick of it. So there's a possibility that it's going to be a massive undertaking, and as you would have also seen on the channel, I tend to not make things easier for myself. I've decided to actually start building on my second site. If you haven't checked out that video, I'll put a link for you on the top right hand side of your screen. That's going to be a massive undertaking as well, but I think it's going to be something that's going to come out looking absolutely fantastic. As I mentioned many times throughout this build, this place is looking just awesome now, and I plan on having it look 1,000 times more awesome by the time I'm finished. And it's been a real pleasure to kind of share this and take people along on the journey. I'm very thankful for the people that have watched the videos thus far. It's been really cool to actually, you know, show people and give people a bit of an insight, and hopefully give people some ideas for their own builds. You know, I've got a lot of ideas from a lot of other YouTube channels for building myself, and I think it's a great resource that, you know, we actually have all of these other channels and all of these people that are willing to share their builds and give some tips on how they actually do things. Alright, well, that's going to be it for this section. We're going to head in and do a little bit more work on this outside garden now. So we'll get into that, and we'll catch up with you in a bit. Alright, well, I'm happy to say the garden is finally complete. Ta-da! Look at that. As I said at the beginning of this video, it seems like you go, oh, look how much I've done, and it's not really that much. But this was hours and hours and hours and hours getting all of this done finally to the point where it's complete. So now you can see down the bottom here we've got 2, 4, 6, 8 different gardens. And I've tried to sort of keep what I've got in the gardens varied. And up the top, 2, 4, 6, 8 as well. And as I mentioned earlier, my central garden with my jasmine. And as I mentioned earlier, it's great now to finally have all this done. It's a pain in the butt to actually get set up, but so good that it's now finally over. Alright, so for next time we catch up, I'm not really sure what we're actually going to get up to. I keep going to start this section in here and never get around to it because I never actually know what I want to put in there. And also I keep attempting to start in this central area as well. But again, I keep coming out of my thoughts with no ideas on what I'm actually going to do for the center section here. I've been spending a heck of a lot of time actually on my other build, and I think most of my creative energy and creative juice has actually gone into that. So that's alright. This one is just going to have to simmer for a while, I believe. As I mentioned earlier, I do have some ideas for what I'm going to do for the sections coming off the sides here. And I mentioned earlier as well that we sort of made a bit of a start here in terms of getting a couple of tiers going down. I do have some ideas, but it's going to be a big mission, and I don't think I'll actually start that for a little while. I'm just going to tinker with my other little build until the first section of it's done before I actually get into the main body of this. And I need to sort of clarify within myself a few little ideas and you know, finalize what I actually want to do, because what I've got planned for this space here is going to take a hell of a lot of planning, and it's going to need to be really well organized, and I don't want to have to do things twice. So that's a really big thing for that particular part of the build. Alright, well, that's it for us for this episode, and we'll catch up with you next time.